Missy was not your typical Nigerian girl. She didn't care much for the usual love stories that her friends were so into. Those ones where the boy is fresh out of school, a fine boy with all the potentials in the world, who buys you ice cream and takes you to the cinema. Missy wasn't here for any of that nonsense. In fact, she had spent the first years of her university life dodging the advances of all those eager single guys who were just looking for a girlfriend to show off at family gatherings. Every time one of them came to her with those wide, hopeful eyes, talking about how they could take her out for some sightseeing and normal stuff that occurs in higher institutions, her eyes would roll before they finished the sentence because to her they were just blabbing. Once upon a time, Yemisil had been naive. She had believed in fairy tales. She had been swept off her feet by a single guy named Muyiwa, a typical city boy who liked to show off. Muyiwa had the kind of swagger that could make anyone believe he was the CEO of a company, even though he was still a student just trying to figure out life. He used words like, my baby girl and my future wife, even though he hadn't figured out his own future yet. At first, everything seemed great. Muyiwa would take her to fancy spots, order expensive drinks, and post pictures of them together on Instagram. He would even send her sweet messages that made her feel like the most special girl in the world. Yemisi had butterflies in her belly and thought she had finally found the one. But then, the reality hit. One day, she found herself strolling to see the love of her life. You know how these things shock young girls now? But when she got there, she received an unexpected package. Her Muyi was on a ride with someone else. At first, Yemisi stood there in shock. She had opened the door without knocking. The smile on her face disappeared within an instant. She remembered all the sweet words he had spoken to her, all the promises, all the time he fed her, the times he buckled her sandals. If she was told by someone else that Muyiwa, her own Muyi, cheated on her, she would have called the fellow an enemy of progress. But here she was, seeing the movie all by herself. Her heart shattered into a million pieces, and she was forced to admit the boy she thought was the one was now just the one who dumped her for another girl. After that day, she made a decision. No more small boys. I am done. She wasn't about to waste her time with someone who couldn't even spare commitment, let alone act it out. She wanted something real, something grown, and something mature. And so, she decided to go after married men. Now, Yemisi didn't just wake up one day and decide, today I'm going to start dating married men. Oh no, it was a process, a journey of trial and error. Her first experience with a married man was with Mr. Tayo. He was an older, established man and definitely someone who looked like he could take care of her. He was in his late 40s and ran a successful business. He had a wife and 3 kids. It all started when Yemisi attended a seminar on financial independence. Mr. Tai was one of the speakers. He talked about growing wealth and making smart investments. Yemisi was captivated, not by his business sense, although that was impressive, but by the way he carried himself. There was a certain dignity about him, something that none of the single boys she had seen had. After the seminar, she managed to approach him and they started talking. He was charismatic, confident, and didn't waste time with any silly pick-up lines. Mr. Tayo went straight to the point. Yemzi, you are different. I like your energy. Not many young women your age have the maturity you do have. Now, Yemisi was flattered, but she wasn't falling for any of that you are different nonsense. But there was something about Mr. Tayo that felt different. He wasn't there to impress her. He wasn't there to tell her he had 1 million followers on TikTok or that he was just trying to vibe. No, Mr. Tayo was there to talk and Yemisi liked it. One thing led to another, and before long, Mr. Tayo was taking her out on dinners that made Muyuwa's dates look like fast food outings. He even took her on a mini getaway to Ogun State. And Yemisi thought, okay, this is more like it. She quickly realized that married men were different. There was no pressure to make it official or to meet each other's families. Mr. Tayo's marriage meant there were no expectations, no serious conversations about whether or not they were an official couple. He didn't need to impress her with his single guy aunties. Yemisi, I don't have time for games, he once said. I am married. I have children. I have responsibilities. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm looking for someone who can understand what that means. And this ticked all the boxes for Yemisi. As they continued in the relationship, Yemisi began to notice that single guys were too much work. They had nothing interesting to say, and their plans for the future were always filled with uncertainty. They talked about being broke and just figuring things out, which didn't exactly sound appealing to her. She was trying to build something, not deal with another person who was still figuring out how to parent and still give her a thorough heartbreak that would make her cry for days, just as she did for Muyuwa. On the other hand, married men like Mr. Tayo had their lives in order. Most of them were mature, stable, and could hold a conversation about real things like investing, family planning, and their legacy. They didn't need her approval. They didn't need her to validate them. They were secure in who they were. And to Yemisi, that was luxury. As our relationship with Mr. Tayo progressed, so did the challenges. There were moments when the guilt would hit her. Am I doing the right thing? She would ask herself. But then she would remember the nonsense Muyuwa had put her through and hardened her heart like Zuma rock. Her new life was different. She wasn't the naive girl she used to be. Now she had learnt the game and she was playing it like a pro. Mr. Tayo was just the beginning, but he wasn't the last. There were others, each with their own set of problems and baggage, but Yemisi had mastered the art of handling them. She didn't need to worry about a man's problem or his personal life. That's for their wives to handle. Why should I have to compete with his wife? Yemisi would often think. If she can't see what's wrong with her husband, that's her problem. I'm not here to be a builder. All she wanted was to have her fun, collect money, and live her life without the drama that came with dating single guys. And to get the kind of money she wants, she will use her influence over them. She will send texts at odd hours, asking them to come over for just a little chat. Always on the nights when their wives were busy with the kids or out of town. Her favorite tactic became the one where she kept them on their toes. She would plant little seeds of doubt in their minds about their wives. If Mr. Tayo, for example, ever mentioned a disagreement with his wife, she was quick to make him question whether he was really happy in his marriage. You are working so hard, Tayo. And for what? To come home to a woman who doesn't even appreciate you? I can't imagine how that feels. I will never treat you like that. You deserve someone who truly sees you. Mr. Tayo found himself calling her almost every day, practically reporting his wife, complaining about her coldness and lack of understanding. He would tell Yemisi all about his frustrations at home, how his wife didn't support his career dreams, how she was constantly too busy with the kids to care for him. Yemisi will listen intently, always giving the right amount of sympathy, but all that was for his money and it worked every time. Yemisi had him in her palm and she knew it. He started coming around more often, skipping family events just to spend time with her. If his wife was planning a trip, he would use the excuse of working late or needing some alone time to avoid being at home. And Yemisi was ever ready. She would remind him that it wasn't just about seeing a woman. It's about seeing a woman who will make him feel like a king, and she will make sure he gets good treats more than what he was getting at home, all because of his money. She will plan things like movie nights, dinners, or weekend getaways, carefully picking times when his wife was busy or unavailable. She made sure to keep all the married men she was dating at arm's length from their families, offering them everything their wives couldn't give them: attention, compliments, and of course, she did this because of their money. Within a year, she had perfected the art of being the other woman in a way that no one expected. She wasn't just a side chick. She wasn't just a mistress. She had become an important part of Mr. Tayo's life. In her own words, Mr. Tayo began to believe that he couldn't live without her, and so she did to the other men. She wasn't just dating them anymore, she was in control. The men started coming to her for advice, sharing their frustrations, asking for comfort when their marriages hit rough patches. And Missy gave it to them, but not without reminding them of what they were losing. One of her favorites was Mr. Okechukwu, who worked in an oil company. Mr. Okechukwu's wife, Folake, was a well-known banker, always busy with her career and climbing the corporate ladder. Missy noticed earlier on that Mr. Okechukwu didn't really care about Folake's work. He just wanted someone who would make him feel special. She played her part flawlessly. Whenever he called, she would listen to him complain about his wife's busy schedule and she would offer him solace. Folake, your wife, doesn't have time for you, Mr. O. You work so hard and she's out there at the office while you are alone at home. Missy would say sympathetically. Well, I'm always here for you in case you feel lonely. And soon enough, Mr. Okechukwu started coming around more often. He started staying over at our place where his wife was out of town for work trips. He would even bring his work over, claiming he needed a quiet place to think. As Missy continued with her games, she realized she wasn't just gaining their attention and affection. No, she was also collecting serious benefits. She received gifts, expensive jewelries, designer clothes, and the occasional cash transfer to take care of herself. But the real treasure wasn't the trinkets. It was the money they gave her for various needs. Each one had their own excuse for why they had to give her money. Some would say it's for her business. Someone like Mr. Tayo claimed it was to show her appreciation for all the time she spent with him, giving him comfort and understanding where he needed it most. As the money started to pile up, she didn't waste a single naira. She invested it wisely. She used it to build herself a future. She put the money in real estate, buying a small apartment in one of the more upscale areas of Lagos. She got herself a car, one of those sleek cars that only screamed thick madam, and she made sure her wardrobe was always on point, full of the latest designer brands. But you will all agree with me that this kind of life has consequences. Missy began to feel a certain emptiness. She had everything she wanted: attention, luxury, and men who would drop everything to be with her. But the more she controlled the situation, the more she realized that she was losing a piece of herself. She had become so obsessed with keeping these men away from their families that she had forgotten what it felt like to have a man who was truly hers. As she lay in bed one night, she started to wonder, is it really worth it? Is being the woman who separates a man from his family really worth it? She realized that she was becoming the woman she had always joked about. Rich and successful, but without a family to share it with. She had built herself an empire, but what was the point if she didn't have anyone to share it with? One morning, as she was scrolling through Instagram, she saw one of her old friends, Choma, post a picture of herself and her husband with their newborn baby. The picture was the perfect picture scene. Chioma was glowing, her husband beaming beside her, and their little bundle of joy in the middle. Missy paused, staring at the image for what felt like hours. See Chioma, oh. She now has everything on point: a family, stability, and love. Meanwhile, I'm still stuck in the same circle. Married men, luxurious dates, expensive gifts, yet no inner joy. I am not getting any younger. This is not life, she muttered to herself. She sat down on the couch and took a long look around her. The morning, the car, the clothes, they were all nice, but they didn't make her feel complete. She wanted more. She didn't just want to be the woman who held a man's attention for a few hours before he returned to his family. She wanted to have her own family, her own love story, something real, just the way God had designed it. In the process of avoiding heartbreak from single guys, just because of the single experience she had with Muyiwa, she had become a homebreaker. And within the close of her walls, she lived in regrets. She made up her mind. The late night phone calls, the empty promises, and dating married men had to stop. No amount of money or luxury could make up for the emptiness she felt inside. It was time to start a new chapter, one where she was just not another woman in a man's life, but a new chapter where she would be the only woman in a man's life. Weeks later, that appetite of being a side chick died. She wasn't interested in any of them again. The appetite to build a family, a life and a future, not just with herself, but with someone who give her that real love and stability she had once turned her back on, emerged. She wasn't looking for a knight in shiny armor, but someone who could understand her dreams, accept her flaws, and give her the love she truly deserved. She knew it wasn't going to be easy, but she was ready to find that. The first step was cutting ties with all the men she had been involved with. It wasn't easy, especially with someone like Mr. Okechukwu, who had been so persistent in calling and testing. He even tried showing up at her apartment with gifts, thinking that he could win her back, but Missy was firm. One evening, as he knocked on her door, she opened it and stood there, looking at him in the eye. Mr. Okechukwu, I can't keep doing this. You have a family. Please go back to them. Go and meet your wife and remain faithful to her. I need something real now, something I can call my own. Mr. Okechukwu was shocked and at the same time hurt. He tried to argue. Missy, you know I love you. I can leave my wife for you, just say the word. But Missy wasn't swayed. She knew what she wanted and she wasn't going to let herself to be pulled back into a life that is full of emptiness. I don't want to be in your secrets anymore, she said. Goodbye, Mr. Okechukwu. I wish you the very best. With that, she closed the door. And just like that, the door to that part of her life slammed shut. With her phone free of messages from married men, she felt a sense of relief. It was like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. For the first time in a long time, she could breathe without the fear of being caught up in a lie, without the feeling that she was being used. She began to focus on herself. She spent more time on her business, took up new hobbies like painting, and even traveled to a few places she had always wanted to visit. During this time, she also found herself in new social cycles, no longer stuck in the routine of dating married men. She began to meet people who were now aligned with her new values. She joined a yoga class where she met Nkechi, a woman who had been through her own heartbreaks but had built a life full of love and positivity. Nkechi, who had also been in a few toxic relationships in the past, became a close friend and supported Yemisi through her journey of self-discovery. Through their talks, Yemisi realized that the love she was looking for wasn't found in the arms of someone else. It was found in herself first. She needed to love herself fully before anyone else could truly love her the way she deserved. It wasn't long after this transformation that she met Akin. Akin was everything she had wanted, and yet he was nothing like the men she had dated before. He was kind, patient, and most importantly, honest. They met through mutual friends at a casual dinner party. He was charming, but not in an overpowering way. His smile was warm, and he had a way of making people feel at ease. Yemisi wasn't sure at first. She was cautious, not wanting to rush into anything. But as the night went on, she found herself genuinely enjoying his company. She had never seen a man speak so plainly, so sincerely. There was no hidden agenda, no charm that tried to mask an ulterior motive. Akin wasn't looking for a fling. He wasn't in for a short-term excitement. He wanted something real, and that was exactly what Yemisi needed. They started dating casually at first, but the more Yemisi got to know Akin, the more she realized he was different. He wasn't threatened by her success, and he respected her independence. There were no power games, no trying to control the situation. They just enjoyed being together. Yemisi wasn't just in love with him, she was in love with the version of herself she had become because of him. She felt like they were building something together, and it wasn't just based on attraction or excitement. It was built on trust, respect, and shared dreams for the future. Long story cut short, they got married. They started planning their future as a couple, buying homes, discussing their dreams for children, and laying the foundation for a life that wasn't just built on financial success, but on mutual respect and deep affection. To Yemisi, the life she had once lived with married men was a distant memory now. Their marriage was blessed with children. Their home was peaceful. In fact, they had everything they needed. And this made Yemisi to ponder on something she couldn't put her fingers on. Could it be that bad girls, the ones that cheat, the ones that get into messy things, are the ones who actually get the best of everything? See how God had blessed me. With the way I live my life, one would think that no one will approach me for marriage. But here am I in the best of best. Some good girls that I know are in hell they call marriage. Some no child. Others their husbands are treating them like a nobody. No attention, nothing, nothing. This life really no balance. Unknown to her, as she sat there pondering life's mysteries and daydreaming about the days of her youth, her husband Akin was living a secret life of his own. Kama is a bitch. One day, she received a call from someone who said she couldn't keep the secret any longer for her sanity's sake. Your husband, the caller began cautiously. He has been seeing someone else, a side chick. And guess what? She's pregnant. She's already 6 months gone. Yemisi couldn't believe her ears. What did you just say? She asked. You mean to tell me that my husband, my Aki, has been sleeping around? The caller sighed. I am sorry if this hurts you, but that's the truth. As the line went off, Yemisi was silent for a very long while. Her mind raced, a tornado of emotion swelling within her. I can't believe this, she muttered. Days later, her worst fear came true. She was sitting in the living room sorting through some old family photos when the doorbell rang. She wasn't expecting anyone, but when she opened the door, there she was. A young pregnant woman stood at the door with a traveling bag. She didn't need a prophet to tell her who she was. Hi, my senior mates. I am Uche, the woman said, her voice oozing with confidence. I am sorry life happened this way, but the seed in me was sown by your husband, and I'm here to stay because I need affection now more than ever before. After all, the Bible says in the last days, one man will be chased by 7 women. Yemisi blinked, trying to process what she was hearing. Wait, what? You are here to stay? She couldn't help but laugh. Kill. You really think you're going to just walk into my house and take my husband? You've got a lot of nerves, I must say. Uche stepped into the house without waiting for an invitation. Oh, don't worry. Aki and I have discussed. I am not going anywhere. If you are not comfortable, then you can find a way because I know they live here. Yemisi was about to lose it, but something stopped her. She looked at Uche. The girl who was now standing in her living room and remembered all the times she had done the same thing to other women, being the side chick who tormented wives. She took their husbands' attention and stole happiness from their homes. But I didn't get pregnant, she said within herself. Okay, you want to stay? Fine. Let's see what happens next because you are not going to get what you think, she said and walked inside. Uche on her part was strong-headed. She took a room by herself. Missy got to her room and cried. For the first time, she felt the weight of what the women she took their husbands went through. This particular heartbreak was heartbreaking. It hit different because just few days ago she had thought she had escaped, not knowing that Kama was still looking for her house address. Akin returned back later in the evening. He apologized and called it a mistake. Akin, you called impregnating another lady and hiding it for 6 months a mistake? Akin dropped the bombshell. You are my number one and she's my number two. We can live peacefully together instead of engaging in any form of fights. This made Yemisi to lose her words. She never expected such from her calm husband. She cried until there was no strength left in her again. As days passed, Uche made it her mission to torment Yemisi. She really gave her a tough time, and Yemisi simply watched her without saying anything. She suddenly lost her words, and whatever she does, Uche must see something to correct. The woman wasn't even hiding the audacity. She had come to her home to rub it on her face. She was so particular about arranging Akin's collar whenever he wants to go to work. She simply turned into what I call oversabi housewife. And Akin on his part became distant. He wasn't the same man Yemisi married. But what really tore Yemisi apart was the realization that what she had done to other women, the universe was now giving her a taste of her own mercy, and it didn't feel good at all. Uche kept advancing in her shooting of trouble, and Yemisi couldn't take it anymore. She had even told her on one occasion that if she wants them to go spiritual, that she was fully ready. This made Yemisi scared. All she had built with her husband, one woman far younger than her, had come to root from it. One night, she said quietly but firmly to her husband, Akin, I am done. I am filing for a divorce. You and your new wife can have each other. My life and that of my children matters more than everything she's fighting for. Akin didn't even try to stop her because his hands were tied. The divorce process was fast and Yemisi walked away. She had learned the hardest lesson of her life. The past always catches up with you, one way or the other. When the Bible says, whatever you sow you will reap, it wasn't joking about it. Hey, African Tales by Karma Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. You will all agree with me that this is not just a story. This is a message and it has life lessons embedded in it. So please give the story a thumbs up and share out to your loved ones. And let me get to read from you in the comment section what you think about the story. Before I go today, side chicks, let's have a serious talk. We know you are out here thinking, it's just a little fling, no hand done. Well, think again. You are playing with fire and you might just burn yourself. You see, what you are doing isn't just a little fun on the side. It is wrecking homes, breaking hearts, and causing chaos that lasts a lifetime. Let me break it down for you. It is not just about you. There is a real woman involved here, sis. There is a wife at the other end of your antics. She's out there waking up every morning, handling kids, pills, cooking and making sure everyone in her home is happy. She's building a life, a future and holding it all together. But you chose to become a distraction, a side hustle to something she's building. That woman has been putting in years of love, care and hard work to build her family. She didn't ask for you to come in like a wrecking bulb and tear down everything she has worked for. Do you know how much pain you are causing her? Do you think this is some sort of joke? No, it is real life. You are destroying a home that was built with blood, sweat, and tears. Stop playing God with people's lives. Let's be honest. You might not want to hear this, but you are not special. The fact that you think you are the one he will leave his wife for is laughable. He's playing you just like he's playing her. The only difference, she's the one he chose, the one who gets the family, the kids, the long-term commitment. You are just the temporary thrill. It is funny for now, but when the reality hits, it will hurt you. You are not the one he's building a future with. You are just for the sideshow. Dear sister, karma is real and it's coming for you if you think what you are doing is harmless. Think again. Karma has this funny way of reminding people that what goes around comes around. How do you think life is going to treat you when you are the one in the wife's shoes one day? When another woman is tearing apart your home, what will you feel then? What goes around always come around. You are playing a dangerous game, and sooner or later it will catch up with you. If you truly think this is okay, that what you are doing is harmless, you need to reconsider. Every time you get a call, a message from him, thinking it's some big secret, just remember you are destroying the peace, love, and stability that another woman is trying to hold together. It's time to make a decision. Is this really the life you want? A life built on lies, secrecy, and betrayal? Or would you rather have something real, something you can build from the ground up without having to destroy someone else's home? There is power in walking away from the drama and letting go of the things that don't serve you. Stop being the valiant in someone else's story. Instead, focus on building your own. Find your own happiness without dragging anyone else's life down in the process. You deserve better. You deserve better than being the other woman. You can have a future of your own, but not if you keep being the one who is tearing someone else's family apart. Let's be honest with ourselves. No one wants to grow old and still be telling their grandkids, I was the reason someone's husband forgot to take care of their responsibility. Come, cool down now. Sister, have a rethink. Have a rethink. God might be using me this moment to speak to you. There is no future in being a side chick. A word is enough for the wise. Until I bring another exciting story your way, it is a goodbye from here, and God bless you.